What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down when the data is going to be coming out to cause some volatility and what's going to likely happen with the charts we're seeing so far. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below or use my QR code right over here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 for free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia plus a $100 cash reward. Deposits $10,000 more to get $300 worth of Nvidia plus $100, or deposits $50,000 more to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock plus $100 for the cash reward. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on invested cash. And the offer ends very soon, so please use my link down below to sign up. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So SPY broke all-time highs during the pre-market, then it came down just a little bit. So we did go even higher like we predicted yesterday, but now the question is, will we continue to pump? The trend is bullish. We're making higher highs and higher lows, but in order for us to pump higher, it depends on some data and some news. So as you guys know, the jobs numbers are not going to be coming out, right? The payrolls data, the unemployment data, and the labor force participation rate data, all that's not coming out because of the government shutdown. But there still is some data coming out from what I'm seeing here. At 9:45 a.m., we still have the S&P Global Composite PMI and Services PMI, which could cause a little bit of volatility. And then at 10 o'clock a.m., I do expect more volatility because of the ISM Services PMI, business activity, employment, new orders, and prices. So the ISM Services data at 10 a.m. should cause volatility 30 minutes after the stock market ends up opening. On top of this, there's a 97.8% chance the Fed's going to cut in October. That's what the market's pricing in. And the market looks very optimistic for that. So we'll see what that leads to. That's also going to be very, very important. So keep that in mind. That's what we're essentially looking for when it comes to the Fed and such. When it comes to other pieces of news, I want to mention that, the government shutdown is still continuing. And despite that, the market is still very, very resilient. It's not really tanking or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. And when looking around, I don't really see anything else that's too crazy on the news. We're just seeing sort of like the same things. So that's pretty much it. Finally, when it comes to the options chain, at least for SPY, we have about 357,000 of these calls expiring. And we have over 676,000 of these puts expiring for 1.89 put to call option ratio, and 663 is our max pain. So we'll see what that leads to. So what do I see for us moving forward? Well, honestly, guys, the chart on SPY is bullish, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we need to basically establish a higher low in balance. We need to hold above 670. If 670 holds, even after all this data comes out at 10 o'clock a.m., we could be looking for 672 and then new all-time highs for another breakout. But if we're bearish, just hypothetically, it's always good to know what the bearish case is. I want to see us lose like 668. If that fails us, we're looking for the lows of yesterday to be retested. That's 665 to 666 zone. If that fails us, then we're going to be dumping to like 662. So keep those levels in mind. If 668 fails, we could be tipping more on SPY, but if we break and hold above 670, we're going to be looking for an attempt to push for 672 plus or even these higher levels. The chart is making higher highs and higher lows right now, so we are favoring some consolidation in the morning, then maybe new all-time highs. We do look bullish right now. We're favoring upside from what I'm seeing, and hopefully this data helps the market pump more. For now, we're still holding up very nicely, so we'll give this the time it needs, and we'll see what ends up happening as time goes on. When it comes to other factors, we also happen to have, the QQQ. The triple Q also has a very similar setup. The triple Q is making higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, just like this. But if we end up losing basically 605, there's going to be a risk of 603. If 603 fails us, we could be dipping more on the QQQ. But also, if we could hold 607, then we're bullish. That's going to be the opposite. Hold above 607, they're looking for an attempt for new all-time highs. 608 and 610 could be coming, but we got to hold above 607 for confirmation. We're not really doing that yet, but hopefully we do try to get bought back up. Once again, it depends on this data and it depends on tech, but I do hope that the QQQ gets back above 607 to continue to break out. We broke all-time highs during the pre-market, so we actually broke all-time highs today already, but then we came down a bit, so I want to see us hold 607 to continue this push. Overall, there is potential nonetheless. On the IWM Russell 2000, we have this gap down here to fill. We're going to be watching 244 flats. If we could bounce off 244 and hold it, we're looking bullish. But if we lose 244, then we're dipping to 242. But I want to see us hold 244 for confirmation. On ES, we could come down just a bit and retest 6750. Then I want to see us bounce. We got to hold that and bounce back up to 6800 from there. If we lose 6750, we're looking for a dip to 6725 or below, but hopefully we get a bounce and try to push back up to 6800. On NQ, we're making higher highs and higher lows, but notice this trend. If we lose 25,000, we're looking for a dip back down to 24,872. As long as 25,000 holds, we're going to be looking for a nice rebound back up to 25,200 or above. So we're going to see how it ends up going as time goes on. For Bitcoin basically has 118,000 as our main support down here. But as long as we're above 120,000, we're going to be favoring new highs towards 121,000 or above. So I think we're still looking quite bullish. Now, for Tesla, I want to mention that Tesla's going to try to pop a little bit, but there is a possible head and shoulders here. And because we have a bearish engulfing candle on the daily, if Tesla could break to 450, if we break 450, we could be going higher. But if we can't get above that, we might consolidate in the 440 to 444 range. And then there's going to be a risk of downside for like 430 or below in case that fails us. So be careful. Also, the daily time frame has a bearish engulfing candle. So even if we gap up and we start pushing towards like 445 or above, we could still turn back down towards the lows. And 430 or below becomes very possible. So we'll see how it goes if we kind of pop and drop. Tesla still has a risk of downside. Nvidia is kind of consolidating. I'd like to see us break and hold above 190 to continue to break out. If we fail, though, there is a gap around 187, so be careful. But for now, we're kind of consolidating, and then we could be pushing for 190 later on. Apple's kind of dipping here. Unless we get back above 254 to bounce, there's going to be a risk of us dipping to like 252.5, and we'll see what happens. For AMD, we're bullish. We have 172 is our resistance, and then 168 is going to be our support. We're kind of in the middle. May consolidate here, then push for 172, and we'll see what happens as time goes on. For Coinbase, we're looking like we might retest 365 for a small pullback. Then we'll see if we bounce. Amazon's in the middle. It looks more bullish. I want to see us break 223.6. If so, we're looking for 225. There is upside potential nonetheless. On Meta, we have a gap down here, so we could be retesting 727. Then we could bounce off that to 732. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. Google has support down here at 244, and we'll see if we bounce. Then Microsoft also has a head and shoulders, though, which is showing some weakness. If we don't hold 512.75, we're dumping on Microsoft. But I want to see us hold at 515 for confirmation. So hold 515, and we could actually try to invalidate this and bounce. But if we lose 515, we're looking for 512. Then if that fails us, we dump. We'll see which way we go. Hopefully 515 holds and we try to bounce from here. The VIX is in the middle. We're going to see if this dips and then tries to bounce, or if it just dumps from here. There is still that gap below to fill. So the market is still technically looking bullish. We're still technically on a very, very nice uptrend on SPY. But can we hold above 670 to remain bullish? That's the real question. We were correct yesterday. The market did break new all-time highs in the pre-market, coming very close to 672. Now the question is, can we try that again and continue to break out, or do we get some kind of rejection? It's a little hard to predict because it depends on this data, the ISM services data that's coming out. So be careful at 10 o'clock a.m. But nonetheless, we're still bullish in terms of this trend, and we could still bounce and break out on SPY and the QQQ if we hold above the resistances I called out. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.